In my years as the Nomad Capitalist, I've spent thousands of nights in hotels. And since I left my home in the United States for good in 2013, I have spent well over 1,000 nights, including many of those at Marriott as a member of their Bonvoy program. I'm going to tell you in this video why I'm giving up on hotel loyalty programs and why I'm giving up on Marriott Bonvoy. Hey, I'm Andrew Henderson, and if you want to work with my team and I to develop your own Nomad Capitalist strategy, you can go to nomadcapitalist.com to learn how. Now let's talk about hotels. If you've read some of my stuff from the beginning, you would have seen me where some years I spent practically every day in a hotel. I was traveling all around the world, sometimes in dozens of countries in a year, and because I didn't own homes or many homes for many of those years, I was staying in hotels. I've never been much of an Airbnb guy. I like the services of hotels. And what I've done over those thousands of nights that I've stayed in hotels is I've learned a lot about how hotels operate, especially how corporate hotels operate. Now, if you're a road warrior for IBM or if you work for Delight, you probably won't like or agree with what I'm going to say in this video, but I'm going to give kind of the 7- and 8-figure entrepreneur's approach, someone who doesn't like the corporate mentality, and tell you why I've given up on Marriott Bonvoy. So I've spent a lot of years staying in Marriott properties, and when the merger came, Starwood and Marriott merged a couple years ago. They have a huge portfolio of properties, 29 different brands of hotels. You can find a hotel pretty much anywhere in the world, and so I decided to hitch my wagon to them. Spent a lot of time over the last couple of years at properties like the St. Regis, the Ritz-Carlton, the Luxury Collections, hotels that you think would be really great. And I worked my way up to ambassador level status. This is where you stay 100 or more nights a year. They recently added a $20,000 annual spend requirement, which I think I pretty easily met. I have the Marriott Bonvoy credit card. I've been like the Starwood and now the Marriott Bonvoy guy. And what's very intriguing to me is, corporate hotels. By the way, I don't know that Hilton or Hyatt or any of those chains are any different, and hotels are increasingly becoming corporatized. A lot of boutique hotels are gaining scale by getting into different corporate programs. So I'm not sure that any of those other ones are any better. But what I found is the marketing for Bonvoy, for example, is, experience an exclusive world of exotic privileges where we dote on your every request on demand. I mean, literally, you can go on their website, you can see a picture of, overwater villas in the Maldives and this, beautiful copy that they've put together of what you can expect when you become an elite member. And so a number of years ago, I dutifully started staying at Marriott properties, paying more than I would at a local property because I wanted to have a central database. I wanted to have, one chain that I could just be a part of and I could really enjoy. And a couple years ago, I reached this ambassador status. And I said, wow, finally I've made it, right? Except I really hadn't made it. So I worked my way up through the ranks, through gold, through platinum. Now they have titanium. I was never that. And then all the way up to this ambassador level, 100 nights. In 2017, I think I spent about 150 nights. That was the peak. But I've qualified in other years. I've spent hundreds of nights a year at these Marriott hotels. And so I finally reached the pinnacle of status. And so the reason they call the top level status ambassador is you get an actual ambassador. You get a person who's supposed to be your point person for arranging all of your stays and making sure that everything is very nice. And really how that works, in my opinion, is more of the marketing puffery that these hotel loyalty programs are all about. Because here's the secret. There is no loyalty. The loyalty is one way. You're loyal to them. Your loyalty must be concrete, because obviously if you stay 97 nights or if you spend $19,000 a year, you don't become an ambassador member. If you spend 48 nights, you don't become a platinum member. You've got to hit the exact targets. Your loyalty to them is concrete. Their loyalty to you is pretty hit or miss, quite frankly. So I became an ambassador member. I was assigned an ambassador. Now, you'd think a hotel chain would be able to figure out that someone who stays at hotels 150 nights a year would be someone who's traveling and they're in different time zones. You can look at my profile and see I'm all over the place. So I get to this hotel in Japan that I'm staying at. It's one of the nicer ones there, $600 or $700 a night, and nobody speaks English, at least very well. Very nice hotel, but nobody speaks English. And I go, and they just can't really handle my request. So I call my ambassador. Oh, your ambassador's gone. Well, why? Oh, we gave you an ambassador in the United States. I said, well, none of my stays are in the United States. I rarely stay in Latin America. Can you give me another ambassador? Sure. They find someone, and really nothing gets solved. And I got pretty frustrated, honestly. I think that I'm a pretty nice person to deal with, but honestly, for a while when I was staying in all these hotels, I felt like I must be the world's worst human being because I was constantly getting frustrated that I had worked so hard, I had put in the effort. I repeatedly stayed at Marriott hotels when there were other options available, and here I reached, okay, maybe I figured maybe platinum. Okay, maybe that's just like an entree. Maybe that's just the appetizer. Let me get to the top status. That'll be like that's when the benefits really kick in. And almost immediately, I had an ambassador who couldn't be found. Then I said, hey, can you get me an ambassador in my time zone? Sure. 3 weeks go by. I don't hear from anybody. Hey, what's going on? Oh, we gave you someone in Ireland. I said, I'm in Asia. Can you give me someone in Asia, as I requested? Oh, silly us, sure. To where eventually a couple months went by, and they got tired of me bothering them, and I got tired of being frustrated. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want the ambassador. They're like, good, we don't want you to have an ambassador. And so I retained the ambassador status, sans the ambassador. Here's why I think that the whole loyalty game really is not one worth playing. And again, I'm saying this to the 7 and 8 figure entrepreneur, the 6, 7, and 8 figure entrepreneur who's getting into the nomad capitalist lifestyle. Maybe you want to explore different destinations around the world. Maybe you're just living my trifecta approach. Maybe you haven't put your homes around the world in place yet. And so you figure, hey, I'd like to stay in hotels. If you're like me, you like the luxury of a 5-star hotel. You like the idea of a butler service. You like the idea of being upgraded to a suite because you're a loyal elite member. You like all the perks. You like the central location, the nice marble floors, all of that. And you know what? That's great. But what I've learned about hotels is it's all in theory. What I've learned is even as an ambassador member, you go to check into a hotel, and by the way, I wish I could train my team members to do this because the people who work at the front desk and people who work in these hotels, they are trained so amazingly well. You could talk to them for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year, and they would never vary off the script. Oh, literally one time I walked into the hotel and I said, hey, I'd like to check in later today. And what kind of availability do you have for ambassador members? They said, okay, we'll give you this room. I said, great, it'll be ready at what time? 2 o'clock, great, okay. Like, you sure? Yes, okay, here's my credit card. I'll be back. I come at 2 o'clock. Oh, we have a different room. Oh, you gave me the room you promised, right? Of course, Mr. Henderson. It is the best room available. Okay. These are the tricks that you're going to learn. If you haven't spent thousands of nights in these hotels, these luxury hotels as I have, you probably don't know the tricks. Every single thing is a scripted corporate hack trick. And so for me, the 2 reasons I don't want to be involved in any hotel loyalty program anymore is, number one, it's just exceedingly corporate. There's no honesty. There's no truth. Every single thing they're going to say to you is a manufactured, basically lie. I know it's not pleasant to say, and I know if you're just sitting there at home and you're watching me get upset about this, and you've stayed in the St. Regis or a Four Seasons here and there, you're like, come on, this guy's being ridiculous. This guy's insane. Come and spend 1,000 nights in these hotels, and you'll realize all the tricks that go on. One of the biggest frustrations for me has been every time I go to check into a hotel, I've got to fight because every single benefit has a caveat. I mentioned earlier, you have to spend 100 nights to be ambassador. There's no caveat like, well, under certain conditions, it can be 85 nights. No, it's 100 nights. If you don't do it, you don't qualify. Yet, every benefit you get is a caveat. Early check-in, if we have it. Late checkout, if we have it. And not at resort hotels, and not in certain countries. And upgrades, subject to availability, but not these rooms. 20% off food and beverage, but not at hotels that don't want to participate. 10% off this, but not on Tuesdays. I mean, literally, there's not a single benefit that you get. You read through the benefits, and you just see the benefits on their website. Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to get upgraded. Every single upgrade for me at this point has been a fight. You go and you check in. Yeah, you know what? At our hotel, we only upgrade 1 level. Well, no, it actually says right here, best available room at time of check-in, excluding select suites. I understand you're not giving me the 5,000 square foot presidential suite, of which there's 1. But if you have 40 of the luxury suites, and 18 of them are available, That's what it's like. That's the benefit. That's what it says. The best available room. All right. And so everything is a fight. Everything is a caveat. And so for again, why I mention this is unique for entrepreneurs and why I'm talking to entrepreneurs and why I want to suggest that, buying homes or finding other ways to live is better in the long term than becoming loyal to any hotel chain and thinking you're going to get, nice upgrades and great service, is because as an entrepreneur, we're used to telling the truth. We're used to being direct. And what made me feel so badly for a while was I would go somewhere and these people are masters at just talking in such, such beautiful soliloquy, while first of all, saying absolutely nothing. When we were planning our honeymoon, Mrs. H contacted the hotel and said, hey, it's our honeymoon. You think like the one time in your life that a hotel chain who wants to show loyalty to you would actually show loyalty, would be like, hey, yeah, absolutely, we're going to arrange something. They send Mrs. H, my wife, they send her an email. She prints it out to show it to me. It's 4 pages printed out that the hotel sent to her. 4 pages. We read it and we're laughing how it says absolutely nothing. They said absolutely nothing in 4 pages. They said, we're so delighted. That's all it is. And so if you work for the United Nations, if you work for IBM where you've got to, BS with all of your colleagues around the office every day and you've got to play office politics, then I guess this is normal for you. Coming in and BSing and listening to BS speeches and, oh, we're absolutely trying our best. As an entrepreneur, I don't want people to try their best. I want people to get the bloody job done. Try your worst if that's what it takes. I'm an ambassador member. I've put in my time. Give me the bloody upgrade. And so you can see how frustrating it is. For me, in business, ethics is very important. If you say you're going to do something, you should do it. If you imply you're going to do something, you should do it. What you shouldn't do is have a bunch of marketing people. And I run a marketing operation. This video is marketing. But what you shouldn't do is have a marketing department that goes out and appeals to people who would like to have a little bit of extra attention, who'd like to have a little bit of better service, and who pay their dues, and then operationally be terrible at executing. Absolutely terrible. And then when you're terrible, they get upset with you. You go to I went to a hotel once and they said, oh, we've scheduled your wake-up call. Shall we bring you some tea with a wake-up call? I said, sure, that'd be great. Bring me some tea. 9 o'clock rolls around. Wake-up call comes. I'm looking for the tea. Don't want to take a shower until the tea comes. 9:15, hey guys, where's the tea? Oh, we're very sorry, we forgot. Oh, well, I'm glad. Maybe I should forget to pay you $400 a night for your hotel in this, emerging country. But we forgot. Okay, fine. Hey, I understand. 9:25, I'm still looking for the tea. Oh, they're on their way. All right. 9:35, hey, what's going on? By the time like 10 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, guys, I need the tea, right? Oh, excuse me, Mr. Henderson, there's no reason to be upset. And what I've learned is, here I am, and I go out, I talk to people, I talk to the shoe shine guy, I talk to people in stores, I go all around town, I go to restaurants, I go all about, I talk to so many people. You know what? Never do I feel more badly these days than in a corporate hotel where I've allegedly earned loyalty, because all I get is a bunch of diplomatic speak from failed actors and failed diplomats who all they're good at is finding nice ways to say screw you. All they're good at is finding nice ways to weasel out of things. Again, this is where, as entrepreneurs and as nomad capitalists, we are in a certain rarefied air where 99% of the world does not understand us. 99% of the world comes and says, what a delightful 5-star experience. They brought us a pot of tea. Again, I'm telling you, if you're looking to be loyal to a hotel chain, I really would dissuade you from doing that, especially if you're like me and you like staying in luxury hotels, because the service delivery is not there. And I constantly marvel at how these people get such rave reviews. Again, I know there's plenty of people they got to travel for work, they have no choice, and they just get into it. But if you live in my world and you have a choice, what I've been doing is I basically said, I will buy as many homes as it takes around the world so I don't have to stay at hotels. Or if I have to stay at a hotel, I will go out and I will try and find a boutique hotel where I can stay. Again, I get it. If you haven't spent as much time in these hotels as I have, you're probably thinking to yourself, this guy's nuts. But where it really hits the mark for me is, again, hey, you can't bring the tea? That's cool. We all make mistakes. But when I've got to call you 4 times for one issue, it gets frustrating. And then when later that day, I ask you, hey, can you bring me this? And you don't do it. And then I go to the next hotel and I have to ask 3 times for something. And it's just consistent over hundreds and hundreds of stays. It's led me to this conclusion that maybe I can share some of you the frustration. One of the things that's interesting about Marriott is, they keep a file on everybody. One guy got kind of upset with me. He said, "Oh, we saw that you were difficult because we saw you complained about not getting your tea, before." And what's interesting is they keep a file that benefits them, but yet they email you all the time, with their blathering, emails before you arrive at their hotels saying, what can we do to make your stay delightful? And I always have one sheet that I made. I had a hotel manager who suggested to me, make one sheet of all your requests. I don't have that many. One of my requests is don't close the curtains, at night. You're staying in the Ritz-Carlton Cancun in the most beautiful oceanfront suite that you had to fight to get upgraded to, and you had to beat them over the head and be difficult. And you're in a beautiful oceanfront suite with the waves crashing, and you come back at night and they've closed 3 different layers of blinds so you can't see the ocean. Like, leave it open. And yet, literally, 95% of the time, the stuff that I've asked to be put, in my guest file as the highest level of elite member, I come back, they don't do it. Right? I've said, hey, please don't, do this or do that. Nothing that's too crazy, quite frankly. I mean, the biggest thing is please don't close my curtains. And 95% of the time, they don't do it. And then I'll go and say, hey, do you mind, please, can you check and don't close the curtains. And then the next day, they'll do it again. And then the next day, they'll do it again. And maybe by the last day of the stay. So for me, this is the challenge, right? This is the challenge, is that every time it's the same thing over and over and over. I'm not saying don't go and stay at the Ritz-Carlton if you're going to go once a year for a weekend or, for your anniversary. That's cool. So that's my experience. What I want you to be aware of is if you are a nomad capitalist, we are in rarefied air. Most people don't understand. We want to demand excellence, and we have a choice. Again, if you're a corporate road warrior, I totally respect that. I'm not trying to diss anybody. What I'm saying is I don't have to go to any particular location. I don't have to stay in hotels for my job. I just have chosen to do so, and I thought it would be a good opportunity. And so I consistently meet people we're helping, and you know what? I've started to hear some of the same concerns from other folks that I'm working with who are living the nomad capitalist lifestyle and who are starting to do what I'm talking about, which is buying multiple homes so I can cut my hotel stay down to as close to zero as possible. And for those stays, try and find boutique hotels, because really the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. Not only for hotels, a lot of loyalty programs are doing this, but in particular, my experience with Marriott Bonvoy has been really subpar. I'm sure they don't have great love for me, and that's fine. I'm sure one thing that they're great at is not taking responsibility. Anyone who gets frustrated is bad in their opinion, and that's their right. And so, like so many things in life, it's just not a fit, and we'll just part ways, and I will avoid staying there. But what I want to save you the trouble, if you are the 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur, if you are the nomad capitalist, don't get sucked into the hype. Loyalty programs, for me, have been a big letdown. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.